Eric, request in. Come in and tell me it's ridiculous. I'm ready for you. What's up, Eric? First of all, I give you credit for requesting in. So
No doubt.
nice work there. Now, tell me why I believe you said, what did you say when I said?
I said you got to be kidding me if you're taking Bijan over CMC. Come on. Are we serious on that right now?
Yeah. So tell me why I'm wrong there. Because of the past? Like what?
I'm talking quality touches. It's one thing to be force-fed the ball when you're – like, how many games are the Falcons going to be in when they're up? You know what I mean? As opposed to the Niners, when you're getting quality touches, they get more red zone touches. This is just my opinion. And by the way, I just want to start off by saying, like, you helped me a lot last season. Like, because of you, I had a stacked roster, but it just didn't work out for me. But I had ETN, Walker. I was stacked because of you. But when it comes to CMC over Bijan, that's what I'm just like. Yeah, that's what I just feel like. CMC is going to get the quality of touches late in the game. Like, he's our I'm a Niner fan, by the way. Niners, Giants. But, like, I just think McCaffrey's going to get more, like, you got to think, I don't even know if Bijan's a receiver.
Okay, bro, let me tell you a little bit about this situation. Hold on.
You're good.
We got a fire truck going by. I don't know how loud that is for you guys, but okay. So first of all, I don't know if you know this, but the Falcons were the #1 running team in the National Football League last year. If you take out the Eagles in the rushing that Jalen Hurts did, so by default, your argument is completely destroyed by that alone, because Algier walked into the final 5 weeks somewhere around the top 6 running backs from the final, 5 weeks, last 5 weeks of the season. Imagine what's going to happen when Bijan gets in there. He's going to rip off 5 yards per carry. Look, Algier is a good player. Bijan is generational. And not to mention, Smith is one of the best schemers for the run in the National Football League. This guy can dial up runs like no other. And when you were the #1 rushing team in the league with a shitty offense, without Kyle Pitts, with Ritter with no preparation at all, didn't have Kyle Pitts, still managed to get London pacing for about 1,300 yards. Granted, the touchdowns weren't there, but the yardage was there. They have great rapport. Pitts wasn't there. Bijan's going to be there now. Great scheming. Falcons literally lost most of their games by like somewhere, I'm spitballing, but 3 and 7 and 8 points, 10 points every single week. They were in the mix. Does anybody think Ritter won't be better getting handed Kyle Pitts, having Bijan in the backfield, having preparation under the line under the center, manning this offense, getting better? Like, how are things going to get worse for the run game when it was literally #1 in the National Football League? You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, Smitty. But what about you? Got to factor in Kyle Shanahan, baby. Kyle Shanahan.
Okay. Let's factor in Kyle Shanahan. Let's factor in how every season your quarterback room is decimated. Every season your running back room is decimated. Okay. His system is very aggressive, and it's not just dumb luck. This whole it's football, players get hurt. That's not true. That's not the case here. This is one of the most aggressive systems on an RB and quarterback that are out there. You have all kinds of offensive line polling and movement on the offensive line that leaves running backs and tight ends in vulnerable blocking situations where your quarterback's going to get leveled because you got a linebacker on a tight end. Things are going to crumble. That's the way that happens. That's why the quarterbacks are all banged up.
But we're not talking about quarterbacks.
Okay.
We're talking about seeing.
Running backs, your running back room. So the year prior, you had 7 running backs, I believe, on the roster. Every one of them was injured. Deebo Samuel, your wide receiver, had to come in and play RB. Christian McCaffrey didn't really play football for 2 years prior to last year. I know you're a Niner fan. From a fantasy football perspective, bro. From a fantasy football perspective, fantasy football worlds everywhere wrote off Christian McCaffrey as being even close to the RB1 walking into last season before there was any sign of him going to San Francisco, okay? So the fact that and here's one thing I'll say. The fact that I have Bijan over CMC doesn't mean that CMC is a total bust. it means that there are certain factors in Christian McCaffrey that I feel are riskier than Bijan, who I believe will lead the league in rushing yards, lead the league in carries, and very well could lead the league in rushing touchdowns, if not be 1 or 2 overall in rushing touchdowns. Not only that, Smith has made it abundantly clear, to your other point, that they're moving Bijan all over the field. They're putting him at wide receiver. They're putting him in the slot. This guy's going to catch about 50, 55 receptions as a rookie in 2023. Bijan Robinson is the safest player at the running back position we've ever seen come out of college since Adrian Peterson, who I did say was the number 1 running back as a rookie. Barkley was the number 1 rookie, was the number 1 running back as a rookie, or number 2, depending on your scoring. So this whole notion that, and I get where you're coming from, if you were to come in here and say, Smitty, I like Christian McCaffrey more than Bijan, but I do love Bijan too, or I love Bijan too, but I have McCaffrey, or I love Bijan somewhere in the top 5, but I like McCaffrey, I wouldn't have a problem with your take. But when I say request in, or when someone goes at me and says that my take's crazy, it's ridiculous to assume just because a player hasn't taken a snap before in the NFL, like, what are we doing here? Are we in the prediction business? Are we in the predictive game that we can't anticipate the next Saquon Barkley? Barkley was the number 1 running back in fantasy football his rookie year, bro. Are we not allowed to assume those things when we see greatness hitting the field?
I agree with you. Like, same thing with Kenneth Walker, right? But it took Walker an injury, so I agree with you that Bijan, there's no injury needed for him. He's going to get the straight shot for it. But what I want to ask you is, what quarterback do you think would be best for McCaffrey for him to succeed?
He was doing well with Purdy. I don't think you want to change anything, bro.
Yeah,
you don't want to go into an unknown with Trey Lance because you don't know how that's going to shake out. You don't want to roll with Sam Darnold because he sucks, bro. Okay, let me just tell you that right now. That Matt Mayako guy, your leader in the Niner beat world, talking about his quote. I don't remember the quote exactly, but he's the best. I think he said he might just be Sam Darnold, the best passer in 49er history. Give me a break. Thrower in 49er history. One of the craziest things I've ever heard from a beat writer that is at the level he's at. That's great. That's madness. Yeah. That's madness. You don't want Sam Darnold starting. The good news is if Sam Darnold did start, it wouldn't last long, and you'd lose one game, maybe a game and a half, and then your other quarterback, Trey, or whoever comes in and tries to bring him back. But what I'm telling you here, bro, is Christian McCaffrey. Here's the other thing you got to worry about McCaffrey. His injury history is real, bro. He's been the highest volume of his offense, the highest percentage of his offense's volume for how many years now, bro? How many years? He's been taking a beating, so much so that he was written off from ever being the number 1 running back or number 1 overall player walking into the last season. People were like, I'm done with counting on him. Not everybody, but a lot of people. A lot of people were done with Christian McCaffrey, and now we're just going to give him more years, like as if just being in a potent offense is going to guarantee him to be healthy. This guy, he did play football for 2 years. He takes great care of his body, but Father Time you cannot run away from. And if McCaffrey isn't spoon-fed, the amount of work that makes him the number 1 overall running back, then he's not going to produce number 1 overall running back. It's a catch-22. And if he gets fed enough volume to become the number 1 running back, especially in San Francisco, especially with that aggressive offensive scheme, he will probably get hurt if he's given that volume. So it's a catch-22. But Bijan's fresh.
I think if you're playing in a PPR league, the receiving work for McCaffrey is just unbelievable. Like that's what I think draws me in, is because I feel like they're going to use him more as a receiver this year, because those quick passes to McCaffrey, like on 3rd down, last year were money.
Yeah, I agree with you, but again, like his rushing line higher low, like on Underdog, promo code Smitty on Underdog, his higher low line is something along the lines of like 700 yards or something. So like, and his receiving line is somewhere along like 700, 800, whatever it is. His touchdown over is amazing. 6.5 touchdowns on the ground rushing. Hit that
Oh,
over all day long. He could get hurt in week 12 and still hit that 6.5 over. So take that over. But my point is, you can talk up the receiving part, and I like that. But Bijan's going to run for 1,400 yards. So any diminished amount of PPR work that he doesn't get to match Christian McCaffrey's, he's getting 1,400 rushing yards, bro. He's going to lead the league in rushing. I almost guarantee you. Not, unless he gets hurt. The reason I can say that with ultra confidence is the Falcons were the #1 rushing team in the league last year, and they didn't have Bijan. They had Algier.
That's why I follow you, Smitty, because you know, like, the jewels and shit. But I feel like people are going to take Bijan super high this year, though.
Well, he should go number 3. He should go number 3. And let me let you finish. I've been interrupting you. Let me let you finish, and then I'm going to tell you why he's deserving of the number 3. And it's not even a hesitation.
So the thing, I don't know, like, all I know is the Niners' defense this year with the addition of Hargrave. I just know that this defense, it's hard to top last year because last year we were crushing it last year. But I feel like the defense only got better, and I just think, like, teams aren't going to be able to score on the Niners. We're gonna have the ball late in games, and not necessarily McCaffrey's gonna have the ball, but, like, that's the thing I don't know with the Niners is because we have so many running backs. We got Mitchell, Mason. We just drafted a couple guys, so I don't know if that's the thing. I stay away from Niners because if I draft Niners, I can't watch the game in peace.
Yeah.
I'm like, give it to McCaffrey. Give it to McCaffrey.
You guys are also going to use Mitchell a lot more this year to keep McCaffrey fresh. So from a fantasy perspective, don't be shocked if you're upset at McCaffrey not getting this touchdown, not getting that touchdown. They're going to use Mitchell. They're going to take McCaffrey out when they get near the end zone a lot of the time. I'm telling you right now, Mitchell's going to be in there whenever you're inside the 10-yard line. Not all the time, but a lot of the time when McCaffrey's tired, doing all the work, carrying the team on his back to get you down to inside the 20-yard line, and then he comes out for a breather, and Mitchell's going to have 7 or 8, 9 touchdowns. But I'll leave you with this on the Bijan front. I'm not saying don't draft Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying he shouldn't be everybody's number 2 running back. I'm saying don't put all your eggs in one basket because I do fear he could get hurt. But I'm not saying don't take him. All I'm saying is I'm combating your initial reaction, which is very common, by the way. It's not you, it's everybody. When I said Bijan Robinson is the #1 running back in fantasy football 2023, the common reaction.
That's a hot take.
But you know what was a hot take? That he was worth the number 6, number 7, number 8 overall pick when I said he was back when he was the 2nd rounder. Everybody said, hot take. Bijan in the top 6. You got to be out of your mind. You're drafting him at his ceiling. No, it's not. His ceiling is so much higher than that. Let me also tell you this. Okay. How long you play fantasy football?
3, 4 years now.
Okay. So
not too much.
So you didn't play when Tomlinson was at his prime. You didn't play when Marshall Faulk was at his prime.
I'm 23. I'm not. Yeah.
So you don't have but Christian McCaffrey in his prime. Let's use that because that's very relevant as well. Christian McCaffrey 3 years ago. Would you ever have said something as stupid? No offense if you would. I'll retract it if you say yes. Would you ever say something as stupid as McCaffrey is overdrafted at 1 overall 2 or 3 years ago? He's getting drafted at his ceiling. He can't possibly produce number 1 overall stats. So don't draft him at number 1.
That might have been rich back in the day, but nowadays, it's not rich at all.
No. What I'm saying is, would you, if Christian McCaffrey was going number 1 overall 2 or 3 years ago when he was the locked-on favorite number 1 overall player, would you be so stupid to say, I can't take him at number 1? That's his ceiling. Like, I'm not going to draft him at number 1. No, because he outscored everybody. And he was like having 2 first-round picks. So my prediction, whether people want to agree with it or not, is that Bijan's going to be so far and above everybody else. He's going to be like McCaffrey was 2 and 3 years ago. He's going to 3 or 4 years ago. He's going to be like LaDainian Tomlinson was. He's going to be like Marshall Faulk was back in the day. Having him drafted at number 1 is not his ceiling. If he scores 15, 16 touchdowns, if he leads the league in rushing, if he has 2,000 yards as a rookie, he's going to far above and beyond number 1 overall value, and it's a cheat code. There's a certain level where the number one overall player far exceeds the number one overall pick. And if you get the number one overall pick, it's a cheat code to win. You have to literally punt your entire draft in order to lose if you drafted LaDainian Tomlinson back in the day. You got the number one pick. It was like, oh, boy, this guy won the league. Okay, you got the number one pick with Marshall Faulk. Huge advantage. Same thing with Bijan. And some people might not be ready for that because he hasn't taken a carry yet. He's never taken a snap at the NFL level. This is a prediction business.
The only thing I would say is you're telling me Bijan, his rookie year, is going to be better at reading NFL defenses than Christian McCaffrey, who was a top pick, and he just has it mastered now. Like that's where I kind of push back. It's like
what does that have to do with it though? Because what I just said to you though, the Atlanta Falcons are the number one rushing team in the NFL.
But who's gonna set up their players for success more? Kyle Shanahan, or I don't even know who the Falcons head coach is. Like, who's gonna have a better game plan on Sunday night?
Running attack. Arthur Smith's one of, if not the best, rushing designer and architect in the National Football League. But let me walk you back a second because you're going down a path that is irrelevant. Who is the number one between the tackles running team in the National Football League? The Falcons. So how can you use any other example and say, well, who's going to be set up better? The Falcons. Bijan, the Falcons ran the ball more than anybody else between the tackles in the National Football League. So who's going to be
tackles, though?
So who's going to? Okay, so if he gets 1,400 or 1,500 rushing yards, which he will, and he's going to average close to 5 yards, if not more than 5 yards per carry in that offense with that architect in there, Arthur Smith dialing up the best running plays you can think of. All he has to do is flirt with Christian McCaffrey's receiving production, and he's still blowing McCaffrey away. If Bijan could rival McCaffrey with very little PPR work.
I got you right here, Smitty. I got you right here.
You don't.
What the Falcons don't have, though, is the weapons, the artillery that the Niners have to spread the defense out. We got Kittle, Ayuk, Juszczyk. Who else? Debo.
Check. Come on.
Okay, that's the thing. They can't stack the box.
Tell me you're a Niner fan without telling me you're a Niner fan. You just threw juice at me. You threw juice at me we got juice, baby. How many catches is Juice gonna get? How many touchdowns is Juice gonna get? Bro, come on. First of all, Drake London, Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier, Kyle Pitts. No. Come on, bro. Number one rushing attack. Whatever you say to me, you just said you had me. You just said you had me because they have more weapons. What you said is irrelevant. It doesn't even matter.
Williams.
Listen to me. It doesn't matter which offense is running the football more. Who's running the ball like no one in the league? The Atlanta Falcons. You're looking over for who's giving you want to put him on or you want to put me on or put you on? Because you're looking over for like he's gonna give you something. Who is it? Put him on. Let's hear what he has to say.
There's no one else here. It's just me.
What are you looking over there for like advice? Is that the police? Bro, the veto police are there to arrest you for drafting Bijan number one overall.
Smitty, who do the Falcons have besides Bijan, though? That's my question.
London, Kyle Pitts. London's going to be a top 5 to 10 wide receiver. Kyle Pitts is a top 5 tight end.
I'm tripping. Do you guys know who George Kittle is? The best blocking tight end.
Bro,
do you guys know who Trent Williams is?
What does that have to do with the Falcons running the ball better than the Niners in 2023?
The blocking.
No. You're saying Kittle. You're talking about offensive pieces like Debo. They got more offense. If you want to say what offense is going to do better overall, I'm going to agree with you. The Niners have more weapons. But how on earth are you arguing this point when I'm telling you that with Tyler Algier, the team was the number one rushing team in the National Football League? They're now being handed Bijan Robinson. They also didn't have Kyle Pitts last year to help keep defenses honest. Ritter also didn't have time to prepare as a starter. Do you think the offense is not improved a little bit by Bijan being behind center and by Kyle Pitts being in the lineup? Do you think it's improved a little bit? Just admit that. Okay.
Yes, for sure.
100%. So if they were the number one rushing team in the National Football League between the tackles last year,
between the tackles.
Okay, so Bijan's going to thrive. How are you making this argument that McCaffrey's going to overtake him if it's only PPR that you're saying he's going to wipe him out because of? I'm fine with you saying that I think McCaffrey just explodes in the receiving game and that's why. But you're arguing different points that are irrelevant to the debate here. Like,
okay, the only
Bijan,
argument, I would just say, who's the quarterback? Like, is he going to keep them one-dimensional? Like, is he going to threaten them with the arm, or is it just going to be Bijan running up the gut?
Bro, the Falcons have one of the better blocking run offensive lines in the National Football League. I know you don't think that because you're a Niner fan and you're going to only see red, but this is a great offensive line. This is a great offensive line.
No, I don't know about the Falcons offense,
Drake London is a top 5 to 10 wide receiver in the making. Okay, they have a guy in Cordell Patterson. You may or may not know who he is. Yep. He's older, but he's electric in both the run and the pass. He's going to be probably hurt at some point during the season, I admit, but this is a guy that's a weapon. And then you got the fact that you got Kyle Pitts, who didn't play last year with Ritter, coming back to help Ritter. There are tons of weapons. Name me a team in the NFL besides the Niners and besides maybe a couple teams, a couple of the top teams, like maybe even the Bengals and the Chiefs and the top like 5 teams. Name another team in the National Football League that has more weapons than Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London.
I'd say
because you're talking about
the NFC, NFC or just in general?
In the league.
Okay, I can think of 2 in the NFC. I think of probably the Seahawks and the Lions.
They all have good weapons. I would say those are good, but better. I'm saying better. Those are all
better.
Arguable. I mean, Bijan, Kyle Pitts in London, and the Seahawks crew, and really anybody but in the top 5 or 6 teams in the National Football League that have these stacked teams. The answer is that it's arguable. And when you look at Kyle Pitts, Bijan, and London, you should see a 3-headed monster that can rival really any team's 3-headed monster. Even if you rank them above the Falcons right now, I understand that. But there are very few teams that have more. The Niners have Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey, Mitchell. That's rare to have that many pieces on the board. And you guys have a pea shooter every year trying to deliver the ball to all these weapons. It's like having a handgun with nuclear warheads lined up. You guys have been shitting the bed, getting the football to all these nuclear warheads with your pea shooter every single season. And you come in, Niner fans come in and brag about how many amazing offensive players you have, and you can't even get them the football.
That was before Purdy.
Well, Purdy is having what is not experimental surgery, but a surgery we've never seen tested and true for a long-term outlook for a passer, and he's coming back potentially early. So for a team that constantly injures their quarterbacks, for a team that constantly injures their running backs, I don't think you're locked and loaded on Purdy playing all year. I do think he is the best shot you have. I said to all of you Niner fans when I went on Raj's live stream a while back, when Jimmy G was playing very well for a brief moment, I said that Brock Purdy should be starting. Jimmy G should immediately be benched. And I got clowned on in the entire Niner community. You heard me. So tell everybody you admit you heard me. There you go.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, Smitty's tripping right now.
Right.
And obviously, like, that's a hot take. But, like, when Purdy came in, you were justified on that. But, like, at the same time, Jimmy was doing good before he got hurt, so you never know if like Jimmy would have done the same thing.
He was floating. He was staying afloat, but it's the system that has always assisted Jimmy.
So you agree the system is good for the Niners? The
system is good, but it doesn't mean that Bijan's going to be outperformed by. It doesn't mean Christian McCaffrey can't outperform him. He can't. Yeah. But it just my coming at you was you said that the opposite, that Bijan, that's crazy talk.
I still stand by that. Christian McCaffrey, maybe I'm emotionally attached because I follow this guy and I respect him so much, and he puts in work. So I don't know, but
Yeah. All right. Hey, great stash, bro. You got the best stash we've seen on IG yet. I love
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
for a 23-year-old, bro, you're sporting that thing like you're a 45-year-old man. That's great. It's a great stash. I appreciate you
Oh yeah.
coming on. Hats off to this guy, bold guy to come in and put his balls on the table. I don't think you got me, though. I'm just going to tell you. I think you stood your ground, but I think that there's some things that you don't know about the Falcons situation that you're going to roll with your guy, and I get that. But you are a little bit delusional in that there's no ability for Bijan to be better than CMC. I'm not saying that it's a lock. I'm saying it's delusional to think that it can't happen based on how good Bijan is just because you haven't seen it before. When I told you Brock Purdy was better than Jimmy and you guys should start him, you thought it was crazy then because you didn't see it. You hadn't seen it yet. So just wait, bro. Just wait. I told you Brock Purdy should be in your lineup. So trust me.
I guess we'll see. I guess
Take
we'll
him.
see.
Hey, take him as a second RB then. Trust me there.
I will. 100% will if he's there. All right, Smitty.
All right. Later, bro.